I'm Samantha Cooper, and together with Andrew Maloney we own Ladywell Crystals and Healing Limited. Ladywell was named after the ancient well at the foot of the necropolis, which at one time was one of the only entrances into Glasgow thousands of years ago. And in our Celtic heritage, our ancestors used wells as focuses for healing. So Ladywell is really all about bringing healing and spirituality to this area of Glasgow. The shop was opened in 2009. We'd had our first shop, 23 Enigma, for 15 years, and our customer base really wanted us to expand. So we were excited to create Ladywell to draw attention to the ancient history in the area. This is an ancient Bronze Age street, and Ladywell was probably a goddess Celtic healing centre, as all wells were used for healing 2,000 years ago.
My name's Gordon Jennings. I work or own Glasgow Appliances at 6 George Street in Glasgow's High Street. I've been involved or running the business for the last 5 years, but the business can be traced back to the early 60s. Generally over the years, dampness is the main problem, and dampness has contributed to electrical faults and problems. The people responsible basically aren't interested. They've confirmed that they're not willing to spend a penny on any of the council buildings, so it's been an uphill struggle.
We first reported problems in 2009 when we renovated Ladywell and found dry rot. There's historic rot in water ingress, including an open sewer under the High Street. We'd been told this by Gordon of Glasgow Appliances, but the proof for ourselves was discovered when ACE accounts of 272 High Street reported sewage gas. You could smell the sewage gas on the street, and it was investigated, later to be cleared out when we received access. Underneath our building was an open sewer with a huge stage covered in human excrement, decades old. This must have led to some health problems on the High Street and certainly contributed to the historic damp and rot that we've all experienced.
My name's Andrew Maloney. I'm co-owner of 23 Enigma and the shop Ladywell. Customers and politicians alike have been horrified when we've told them what we found in the basement when we got access to the open sewer downstairs. It showed years and years of sewage and material that could easily catch fire had been left there, and was only removed when they were forced to by people complaining about the sewage smell permeating the street. But the damage is done, and unfortunately the moisture and the rot has spread to our other shop, which is some metres down the road, and we know of rot in other premises between here and there as well, and we don't see any improvement in any long-term strategy or anything to protect these buildings and the investment that's been made in them by us, by the citizens of Glasgow for the last 100 odd years, and there could be 100 odd years more life in these buildings if they're treated properly.
City Property have said to our neighbours that they are not spending a penny on the High Street, and quite frankly we're all outraged by that. These ancient buildings were part of the Glasgow Improvement Trust over 100 years ago, and they were really for the people. So for Glasgow's oldest street to fall into disrepair like this is really shocking.
My name is Daniel Taylor, and I run McEwen Smith Cafe at 3 to 5 Duke Street. Purely on independent retail, you know, a pound spent locally stays locally, and if you want to sort of foster an independent retail scene, City Properties are really a big block in the pipe that is preventing that from happening. For example, if the Ladywell closes, well, I mean, a lot of their classes that they hold or events that take place in the Ladywell, I get a turn of trade off the back of them, in that customers of Sam's visit McEwen Smith before attending a workshop.
We were expecting repairs to be done immediately as per a meeting of 2010. But since then, in the past 6 years, we've really fought to have an investigation into why it's taken so long to have these repairs implemented. GHA were said to go ahead with the repairs in 2012, which were then halted, and ever since then our shop's been in danger, and we've been basically in limbo waiting for these repairs to happen.
As you can see, this is the kind of problems that we've got. It's been ongoing for a very, very long time. The back wall there, which actually looks okay, only discovered a few years ago, and that's actually a false wall, which the council built about 30-35 years ago. And the whole point in building the false wall was to prevent the dampness. There's a cavity beyond that of about 3 foot, and then beyond that you have the original wall, which is similar condition to the rest of the walls, obviously all damp and dilapidated. The council have given us obviously no help. We've got no intention of spending anything at all on it. We're told that they basically told us to do what we want at our expense. So, but now one of the main concerns is the sort of area above us. It's steel beams with concrete in the middle, and the steel beams are kind of corroding. And I might be wrong, but I certainly feel as if the concrete is kind of coming away, and there's parts of it which have kind of dropped down. And there was a snooker club in Shawlands which had the same setup many years ago. Actually, the whole thing collapsed. And one of the problems is that under the council's lease, they make no responsibility. So basically, all this could collapse, and we would have nowhere to trade and have no stock. So.
For the past 6 years, we've been fighting to save our business in the face of frustration and obfuscation from City Property and GHA. We hope to raise awareness of the situation on the High Street, which is leaving Glasgow's oldest street, which is a Bronze Age street, looking like a dilapidated thoroughfare with nothing of interest for any visitors or locals. There's no history boards telling that William Wallace fought a battle, the Bell of the Bray here, no history boards to tell us Robert the Bruce was hailed as king in Glasgow Cathedral, nor of Mary Queen of Scots' presence around here. As tourism is so important to cities like Glasgow now, something really has to be done to save the area, and we really hope this can shine a light on the problems here and gain us some much needed help.